In today's episode, we are going to do the Try Hack Me page on the OSI model. First steps first, join the room. All right. If you want to watch the video, watch the video. We're not going to do that for this video because that's kind of weird watching a video of watching a video. But anyways, here we have it, the OSI model or Open Systems Interconnection Model is the essential model used in networking. Start at the bottom. Now let's start at the top. That's kind of how you see it as your, say, for example, I'm using this browser. This is Google Chrome, and it's the application I'm using to visit tryhackme.com. And then we go further down in the presentation layer, and essentially that's what tells the browser how to present the data it receives. And then session, every time you open a new tab or open a new browser, um, log into a website, it creates a unique session for that visit. Then we're getting down into the transport layer, and essentially what that does is tells you how the protocols used to route the information. And then all the way down through physical, which is the cable, whether it's a copper cable or fiber optic or a combination of both, which often it will be. But anyways, that's just a brief overview. Let's answer some questions. Question one: what is OSI? Open Systems. Oops, let's spell something right today. Interconnection. And how many layers does it have? Well, we can see that it has 7. What is the key term for when pieces of information get added to data? Oh, the key term. Let's see. It looks like that process is called encapsulation. So, encapsulation. Let's see if we're correct. Boom. 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 Okay. So on the page, it looks like they're going to go in reverse order of my explanation, but that's okay. That's all right. Let's do it. Okay. The physical layer is essentially, like I said, it is the physical components of the hardware, and essentially you got ones and zeros flowing through them on and off. Okay. Let's answer some questions. The name, physical. That numbering system is called binary. Ethernet cables. Boom, boom, and boom. All right. Whoop, whoop. Moving on to the data link. The data link layer is focusing on the physical addressing of the transmission. And that's where your MAC addresses come in because they're unique to each adapter and even to each port on your adapter. If you have if you have an Ethernet card with multiple ports, or a lot of motherboards in the consumer world come with 2 Ethernet ports, which I guess back in the day, sorry, this is kind of a tangent, but back in the day, we used to bridge those 2 Ethernet ports together to virtually form one connection. And so if you had, say, for example, a gigabit Ethernet port, 2 of them, you could combine them and essentially create a single 2 gigabit port, which allegedly was supposed to double your bandwidth. But back in those days, I don't think the ISPs could handle that. Anyways, let's get back. Data link. Name of this layer. Data link. Seems like the question should be harder. I'm not complaining. The name of the piece of hardware that all network devices come with is Mac Media. No, network interface card, I believe, is. Yes, it says inside every network enabled computer is a network interface card. That's a unique Mac. All right, let's submit. Whoop whoop. All right. All right, another one. There we go. Moving on. Network. It's the third layer. Or the magic of routing. And it's not all that magical. They use routing tables. A couple protocols, the OSPF, Open Shortest Path First, and RIP, Routing Information Protocol. A couple questions that'll help answers. What path is the shortest? What path is the most reliable? And which path has a faster physical connection? Which makes sense, because shortest is not always the best. Yeah, it may be like, and here's in terms of hops. For example, I got to go from computer A to computer B. I have to go through this device, but then I have a choice of these two devices. These will probably be routers, and then another device here that allow me to connect to computer B. And this could be you browsing, and this could be a web server, or vice versa, or whatever application you're using. So, but if this one's faster, but it also is at least reliable, like for example, it loses a lot of packets, you may want to choose this one. Anyways, let's answer some questions. This is the network layer. Ta-da! Survey says, cha-ching. Yes. Otherwise, why? Why have a network? Let's see. This was open shortest path first. RIP, not rest in peace, but routing information protocol. Oh, submit. Yay. Woohoo! What type of addresses are dealt with at this layer? I would say that would be the IP address. Yes. Your IP address. Submit. All right. Let's move on up to the transport layer. Okay. Layer 4 of the OSI model. It says it's a little difficult to grasp, but essentially you just got to know, all right, which protocol is used with this connection. And two popular options are TCP, which is Transmission Control Protocol, and then you got UDP. So let's find out about TCP. The protocol was designed with reliability and guarantee in mind. So if you absolutely have to get every single packet from point A to point B so you can have all the data. And time is not necessarily of the essence. You can choose TCP. So, for example, if you're sending a file to, like, say, you're uploading a file to a file server, and obviously all the information has to reach the endpoint, otherwise the file will be corrupted on the other end, and that doesn't do anyone any good. And so you'll choose the TCP protocol as the base transport layer protocol. Um, and then let's see, let's move on to UDP, the user datagram protocol. It's much faster than TCP because we don't really care if the data is received in a timely fashion. Um, some examples, like when you're connecting to gaming, they'll use the UDP protocol because do you really need every single update at every single second of every single moment of everybody that's playing the game? No, you just need general updates for you in your area of the game. And so if you miss a packet here and there, it's not going to be the end of the world because you're getting updates all the time. Okay, so let's answer some questions. We got the transport layer. TCP is the transmission control protocol. Oh, yay. Yay. UDP. Where's the definition? UDP, user datagram protocol. So what protocol? The survey says yes. Got it right. Woo, woo, woo. What protocol guarantees the accuracy of data? TCP. UDP. I think go TCP for this one. I hope that's right because that's kind of the example I gave. Yeah, I know that I used the download, the file upload. But again, I think that's TCP because you got to make it all there. An example they use is streaming for UDP, which that's another great example because at the end of the day, you only have to get so many bits per frame to have a certain resolution. And so if your bandwidth temporarily drops, you may it may be fuzzy for a second, but then as soon as it buffers, it'll catch back up and be clear. And that's how that works. That's all here in the transport layer. Yes. All right. Moving on. Once data has been correctly translated or formatted from the presentation layer, the session layer will begin to create and maintain the connection to the other computer. So essentially, it creates the connection. So I don't know, the details here are kind of sketch. Essentially, the session layer is responsible for establishing and maintaining and closing connections between the two computers. Session. And the technical term for when a connection is successfully established is called active. Maybe. Session. Okay. Presentation. So this is where standardization starts to happen. Um, so if you think about all the different packets that are sent out, and then at the end computer, they're starting to put together packet. Well, the presentation layer kind of acts as a translator to make sure that everything's put together in the right order. Um, for example, they give I use Microsoft Outlook for my email, and but someone else might use Google, and so I have the email that I'm sending out. It's controlled by the Outlook software, and it's sent through all these different layers to the receiver who has a Google email, and the Google's Gmail client uh, will put it together. And even though they're two different pieces of software, it all gets put back together because of the presentation layer. And it doesn't mention this, but I believe the protocol for sending emails is SMTP, and then receiving emails. It used to be POP, but now I think it's IMDP. It's one. It's not on the quiz, so I'm not. It doesn't matter. Presentation. Translator. Survey says, yes, I can read. All right. Layer 7. Oh, that's the last layer. All right. Application layer of the OSI model is the layer that you're most familiar with. It's your browser. It's your file server, like FileZilla. Even like if you're using Windows, I'll pull it up. Let's go with the documents. As you can see, I have a whole bunch of documents, but in here I could like change this to a remote network, address and upload a file that way. But it's just what we use. This is the human interface. Okay, so we got the graphical user interface, the GUI. Okay, application. Survey says, all right. And so the technical term for the software is the graphical user interface. However, I would also say you got the terminal or command prompt or PowerShell, depending on where your operating system. Those are still applications, but it's not necessarily a GUI per se. Just some Food for thought. Okay, that is the OSI model. But there is a game. Can I escape the OSI dungeon? Our staff high score of 19 seconds. Okay, let's see what happens. Physical. Oh, I, I, oh dang! I didn't read the instructions. Let's close this. Refresh. Okay, let's read the instructions. Spacebar to enter. Okay. See, this is why you read the instructions, because otherwise you don't know what you're doing and you look like an idiot. Just like I did. All right, so physical, and then we got data link, then we got network, and we got transport, session. Ah, 29.22. All right, not as good, but my character wasn't moving, so they probably cheated and had to move super fast, but that's all right. THM OSI dungeon escaped. Submit. Yay! All right. So the next task 10 is continue learning packet and frames. However, that's for a different video. I hope you enjoyed episode 2 of This Old Man Hacks the World. Um, One might ask, well, you're not doing any hacking. But yes, not technically, not yet. But what is hacking? And why do I have to know this stuff in order to hack a computer or the network? And quite simply, if you don't know how something works, you can't hack it. And that's kind of what hacking has always been is learning how a device or like a telephone or anything works, and then using that knowledge to get it to do something that you want it to do, which is not necessarily what it was designed for, but it's still what you want it to do, and that's what hacking is all about. So, yep, this one took a little bit longer than the last one, but I hope you've enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the like and the bell and all that jazz. If you made it this far, thank you for watching the whole video. Peace.